Welcome to the CEO of Destiny podcast, where you will find the tools to fulfill the purpose of your generation and wildly succeed in the marketplace. And now your host, Andre J. Benjamin.
I love the contrast. So can you elaborate a little on because you alluded to not being embraced as well by Black Americans, by African Americans. You weren't. What was that experience? Were people embracing you and being like, man, kind of like, welcome to the city, welcome to, you know what I mean? Welcome to the States. Or was that another?
It was mixed. It was mixed. Some people were, and I still have some of those guys are my friends today, and some people were just not. Some people were more like very, very put off, and I had a very strong accent. People, they'll make fun of me, call me like, the guy from Eddie Murphy, Coming to America. so, so it was always that, so it was, but it was like a mixed bag from different people.
Prince Hakeem.
Yes, Prince Hakeem. Yes. So I had, so it was, it was a mixed bag, but like I had a diversity of friends. I ended up just having a diversity of friends, right? People who just didn't always look like me, but some people did look like me, and we were able to I was able to try to find the people I could really connect to. And there were some other Africans there too that, were going through similar experiences that we were able to kind of really connect with too.
So did you find a large population of do we call them Zimbabweans?
Zimbabweans? No, not initially. I think, it's changed in more recent times.
Yeah, but at the time it wasn't a lot. You were a rarity. You were rare in so many ways. So it made you have to accelerate to recognize your leadership ability. Okay, so now take us into how you end up in your profession, and now I'm going to also then start pivoting to some of the things you're working on, because I want to hear about the CFO role, but I want to talk about the nation Zimbabwe, and I want to talk about development and what development means to you and what the developer's mindset means to you, because your heart burns to see some things happen. And I want that to make sure to get that across the audience, because I think there's some jewels and just some things that you feel like the Lord's talked to you about. Talk about this spiritual awakening that you have with the Lord, and then from there.
Yeah, it's I'll be remiss to say, like, the one thing is, I think there's so many key things in my journey. I mean, yes, I started working at Deloitte and Touche. They're like accounting firms. They call them the Big Four, it was an incredible experience. And when I was working there, I met my wife, like closer to my end.
Oh, we ain't skipping that one. We ain't skipping how you met your bride.
And that was, I mean, that was God. Seriously. It was like, she at the time was studying Zimbabwe. She was at UW working on a paper on AIDS in Zimbabwe. And, at the time, actually dating or meeting different people, no one even knew where Zimbabwe was, So so I remember even asking, like, my name is Simba, I'm from Zimbabwe, do you even know where that is? And she just broke it down in the club too.
Like, what you mean? Do I know where Zimbabwe is?
Yeah. So wow, and she was actually putting together an AIDS benefits
wow,
right? So an event to help people of age or AIDS orphans in Zimbabwe. So
she wasn't even like moderately interested. She was deeply interested
interested. And if you ask her, she would say, like, there's something in her heart. God put Zimbabwe in her heart, and there's just something. Every time she was studying Zimbabwe, there's something that was like igniting her heart about it. So when we met, and she said, and she was talking about Zimbabwe, and of course she's beautiful, she's amazing, and she talks about Zimbabwe, and then she knew Zimbabwe. Oh wow!
Yeah. I mean, it's a wrap. I'm asking you. We're going to coffee. We're going to all that.
Yes. So that was powerful, and like, I feel like when it comes to purpose and vision, it's like, God has put a partner. It's put a partner for us on this earth for us, so we can't really fulfill these things by ourselves. Absolutely. Like, there are people that come with us, and the most important person is Jesus. The second most important person is your wife or your spouse. And it says in Proverbs 12 that, like, an excellent wife is the crown of a man's head, right? So it's really like, it's crucial that you have that you have that divinely appointed woman, God, that God, or man, that God has put in your life to walk with you in this journey. And as God unveiled his purpose and vision in us, it happened not just to me, it happened to her as well. So
Wow.
really, it's kind of it actually pitted us more together as a couple and as a marriage than ever before, because we have this like intertwined shared vision that God's put in both our hearts.
Wow. And so highlight us on how the Lord began to minister to the both of you as a couple, and take us up to both your hearts manifested in present time of what is burning. And you don't have to give all of it, but just I want to hit on that level of, because I love what you want to do with tech, and so I didn't even pull the cat out the bag, but I want to hit on this for a reason.
Yeah. So it happened. We were walking with the Lord, but we were not like in this, like really walking with the Lord. I mean, it's not like, in terms of like our lifestyle, a full lifetime could devote it to the Lord, and
like fully yielded. You weren't
fully yielded. Yeah.
It was
and,
like
and
he was invited, but he wasn't like he wasn't living with you.
He wasn't living with us. No.
Hanging out with occasionally.
The way I would say is like, I knew he was around, but I didn't open the doors to my house.
That's good.
Yeah, he wasn't. And so, we have an encounter with the Lord through a neighbor, a person who moved in next door, right next door to us, our neighbor, like across the street. She buys that house, and she really speaks into our lives. And at that time, I was actually going through a moment where I was seeking more of him. And my parents passed away. I was kind of like coming out of grief and seeking, like, oh, God, what is my purpose? What do you want from me? I didn't even want to. And actually at that point, I was like thinking about my career. I worked for 8-9 years, all these hours, and I was just like, you know what? I'm willing to kind of give this all up to you, right? I actually was looking for jobs at the time where I could just work 8 hours a day and be home with my family and make less money. I was just completely like unabandoned, just waiting. Yeah, I was done. I was just done. And so this lady moves in, and she just like really speaks into our lives, really like, and the Holy Spirit just starts touching my wife. Always starts with the wives. She gets lit up, and I'm coming home from work, and then she's talking to me what's happening. I'm seeing the burning in her face. I'm like, something is going on. Wow. So we start having this like prayer times at night with the neighbors, the neighbor and her husband, and I just start like, I don't know, just having these Holy Spirit experiences, and just wanting to just desire to want to give it all to him, So then a job opportunity is now coming up, because I'm looking for a job then, and this is like the first time I'm like, oh wow, this is a good chance. I'm giving this all to you, God. Whatever you want me to do, I will do it.
So can you unpack a little bit about what was the dissatisfaction? You said you were burnt out because you said, I want a job that's just, I'm so done with this. I want to just give me an 8-hour job. I'll make less money and I don't care. What emotion would you say you were experiencing, and kind of take us to that? Because there's a lot of people that could be watching right now and that are at before this point of a turning point, that they feel like, man, I'm done with this.
Yeah, I would say like I didn't feel like a satisfaction. Like I was working hard, but it felt empty, right? I felt like I was just like, and I was trying to like, and I felt like I was really doing things out of my own flesh in a way. It felt like I was always kind of hitting a dead end, like almost like a hamster wheel. I was really moving really, really fast. I was doing all the right things. I was showing up on time. But then I just felt like I wasn't moving forward. It just felt like I was hitting a barrier. It just felt like I wasn't hitting that. I just wasn't feeling happy, But and I was being paid well, and my kids were happy. My kids had food. It wasn't like we were suffering physically, but internally there was a turmoil. I was just like, I could sense there was more. I could sense there was something more I was missing, but I couldn't put it. So I started doing like, oh, maybe I should start meditating. So I got like the Headspace app, started meditating on the bus to work.
Now you're in the search. You're in the search mode.
Yeah.
So fast forward to now this new opportunity opens up. Go ahead.
Yeah, and that's when now we're flipped from that search mode to like, okay, wow, this lady, you know, we start talking about Jesus. We start encountering the Holy Spirit. I start realizing how God talks to me in dreams. And he'd been talking to me in dreams my whole life. Then I'm just starting recounting. We start cutting things off from the spirit, like things that are from how I grew up. Like things that
it's dark. Just a lot of darkness. Right? Now you're closing the doors. You're closing the doors.
Yeah, and I just start feeling more peace. I start feeling like whatever happens, whatever God chooses me to do, it's just gonna be amazing, right?
So did you start to, at this point, are you starting to, or is this too early? What are you starting to learn about who you are at this point? Meaning, like, are you starting to know more about, like you even said, I started to realize, man, he had already been talking to me through dreams and I didn't even notice it. He had been talking to me my whole life through dreams. You get what I'm saying? Are you starting to get more honed in on, man, I'm gifted at this. Because I know you would believe this as well, but I'm going to be ignorant as a host in that there's a difference between, you know, a job versus your gift and your calling, you know, and I love how you have intermingled the two of knowing that. You get what I'm saying? So can you unpack of like, was he starting to show you stuff about yourself as you were drawing near to him and he was drawing near to you, or is that on?
Yeah, no, that's right. And I think that's key, because he was starting to show me like what, even within all these jobs where I felt like I was unsatisfied, how like different attributes of myself being like, I think you call this like a CEO of my destiny, taking things and taking dominion over the things he's given us, right? Starting to show me like like the parable of the talents, like here are some of the talents you have. And I'm starting, and also he's like, I feel like at that time, I'm feeling this reassurance that like, wow, like I want to be in a place where he wants me to be in, because I want to live in his full purpose, right? In whatever job I'm in. And for me, I started seeing jobs more as like, it's a place of worship, right? It's a place just to serve him. Like, so whatever I'm called to serve him, I'm called to do it. I'm going to serve him. That like the person who's my boss, that's not really my boss. My boss is Jesus. He's the one who's really going to lead me through this. So I remember starting to feel this like pull towards, as I got closer to him, I started feeling this like, you know, and the vision hadn't started forming about where God wanted me next. And that kind of happened later. But like I started just having this confidence in myself and knowing that like, wow, I'm not just meant to just like go along and just work. There's like, even when I'm at work, there's a divine purpose. There's a divine purpose for the people I hire or for the person I work for, or praying for that person and just bringing the Spirit of God in every situation. So I could kind of sense that was happening, for sure. And yeah.
So now hit the audience with what started to happen to you, about how did your heart start to burn for development, because this is personal development that's happening with you and your bride.
Thank you for listening to today's episode. Do us a favor. If this was useful in any way for you, please go to iTunes and leave us a review. Reviews will allow others to easily discover the podcast. If you'd like more information and to receive a free download, Rediscover Your Destiny, go to ceoofdestiny.com. Thanks again, and tune in next time.